On Tuesday morning, Ferrari released a statement confirming what had been widely speculated: Binotto has been sacked as Ferrari's team principal. Now, this is a situation that Leclerc has probably secretly desired. However, this doesn't mean that all of his problems regarding the performance of the Ferrari car are now long gone. On the contrary, if there were one man who could fix all of Ferrari's problems, it was Binotto. Nevertheless, the reality stands as it is, and we're going to see a new principal at Ferrari from 2023 onwards. After an agonizing 2022 season, Binotto has decided that enough is enough and will leave the team for the upcoming season. He wasn't able to withstand the media pressure, and it seems like Leclerc has demanded for him to be replaced due to the fact that he wasn't able to cope with the fact that he lost so many championship points due to strategy blunders. Still, this is something that Leclerc himself doesn't really understand, because although Binotto could have done a better job managing the team, he could have also fixed the reliability issues and brought Ferrari back to the top. Binotto isn't responsible for the tactical blunders, and that's something that everyone knows. However, he was responsible for not pointing his finger towards the faulty people, in this case the strategists. Obviously, this is something that Leclerc and Binotto weren't able to get over in their relationship, and that's why the Swiss engineer left the team. So what is next for Ferrari? Obviously, the replacement is going to be someone with experience, and two names are being circulated around, such as Frédéric Vasseur and Maurizio Arrivabene. Frédéric is a guy that Leclerc has a lot of trust in, due to the fact that he was the team principal of Alfa Romeo when Leclerc debuted back in 2018. And Frédéric is a very close friend of Nicolas Tot, who is the manager of Leclerc. That's why many are led to believe that this relationship is bound to happen, and we're only waiting for a realization to happen. Sky F1 also reported about this situation unfolding in this manner, adding that Vasseur is the individual that Ferrari are going to look for in the upcoming period. But apart from Vasseur, the name of Maurizio Arrivabene is circling around in the sport, which is why the former Ferrari principal could make a sudden comeback to the sport and help his team be great yet again. Maurizio was the chief executive officer of Juventus FC. However, this team was involved in a major scandal, and it's very likely that Arrivabene will return to Ferrari due to the fact that he was forced to leave his position in Juventus. And Sky F1 reported on the situation as well, adding that Ferrari may have purposely messed up the situation in Juventus in order for Arrivabene to come into Ferrari. These changes at Juventus, you have to assume, have been rubber-stamped by John Elkann. Although they're not linked, and there is no sense of any financial wrongdoing at Ferrari. But it's worth noting the crossover of staff at the executive level you have between Juventus and Ferrari. The current chief executive of Juventus, who is on his way out but will stay there in a caretaker role to facilitate the transition of the appointment of the new board, is Maurizio Arrivabene, who was Binotto's predecessor as a team principal. Now, some other names such as Franz Tost and Andres Seidel were related to the Ferrari team principal role. However, they've denied it quickly and added that they're focused on making it work with their respective teams, as they've struggled a lot in the 2022 season. Ross Bourne was also related to this seat, but he added that he doesn't plan on returning to his old role, one that he had back in 2009, and the time for retirement is nearing much faster than everybody else thinks. Bourne added, "I'd move away from wanting to be part of a team. I've decided I've done enough of that. This was the only thing that could have possibly appealed. Now is the right time for me to retire." Now, it's obvious that Ferrari will have new leadership from 2023 onward, but the question is this the right thing for the Maranello team? Obviously, it'll be a fresh new energy, given that the energy that was previously present in the team will depart with Binotto. Now, the new team principal is going to be much more competitive and much more reliant on the duties, and that's why the team's tactics could improve in times to come. But this isn't always a guarantee. Although Binotto wasn't a good manager, he was a very good engineer, and it's evident that the tactics team still made a lot of mistakes, even though they listened to his feedback. Ferrari managed to be the laughingstock in Formula 1 on multiple occasions throughout the 2022 season, starting with Monaco and ending with Brazil. After all, Leclerc and Binotto's relationship was ruined back in Silverstone, which mediums reported that the Monegasque is no longer speaking with Binotto as a result of this incident. Leclerc has suffered a lot from the tactics of his own team, that goes without saying. That's why he has every right to be mad for how the races in Monaco, Silverstone, Belgium, Spa and Brazil ended the way they did, just as Leclerc was to be blamed for how he finished in Imola and France. Although he has a lot to learn and must become a flawless executor, something that Verstappen is and was last year, Leclerc cannot rely on his team enough to make good decisions and help him win a championship for the first time in his career. That isn't too much to ask, to be honest. After all, the team is here for you, not against you. Leclerc does have a very close relationship with Vasseur, and that eventually means that he will pursue the team to bring the Alfa Romeo principle to Ferrari from 2023 onward. Vasseur also knows how the Ferrari car performs to a certain extent, so you wouldn't have a lot to catch up on. And this is a very important factor, due to the fact that the new team principal will have less than 3 months to understand everything that's going on with the team's philosophy and brand, and therefore build a new energy and a new movement from point zero. In 2022, Ferrari demonstrated that they had the right machinery to win races. However, they also demonstrated that they're easily swayed whenever a championship challenge is presented to them. Binotto did bring the team back to where it was asked of him all the way back in 2019, which was to get it back on the winning track in 2022. However, Ferrari emerged as early championship contenders in the first 3 races after Leclerc won 2 and Verstappen retired in these 2 races, with the Monegasque holding a 46-point lead over Verstappen, which vanished in the next 3 races. Obviously, Leclerc made some mistakes on himself, as we mentioned earlier in this video, but this has no significant impact on the championship battle. The management of the team is something that needs urgent addressing, and with Leclerc being on non-speaking terms with Binotto, it's obvious that the team will follow the request of their superstar driver and bring in another team principal. But if the problems persist in the following 2 years, and the chances of this happening are huge due to the fact that the strategy team is going to stay the same, as Ferrari hasn't hinted towards changes in this aspect. Leclerc's contract with Ferrari expires in 2024, and there's a huge chance that he will consider his options with Mercedes or another top performing team if the opportunity arises, if Ferrari's performance continues to stall in the following 2 seasons. Now that Binotto is gone, Leclerc does believe that the opportunity has arisen ahead of him, and now in 2023, Leclerc will try to strike his first championship under the new team principal's leadership. Obviously, his driving would have to see some improvement, and he would have to match the level of Verstappen, which will be a very hard mission to accomplish. But if there is one guy on the grid that can do this, that's definitely Leclerc. With the new regulations in place and Ferrari promising that they have found a solution to the F175's reliability issues, we can expect a much more competitive version from the Maranello team. However, we aren't so sure that we're going to see better tactics and shot calling from the pit squad, something that the new team principal will have to desperately address if they want to see success in the times to come. So, what do you think is next for the Maranello team? Do you think that Leclerc was in the right to ask for Binotto to be sacked, or do you think that the relationship was repairable? Moreover, who do you think will be the replacement for Binotto? Let us know in the comments below.